tips to move toward a plant-based diet. And then you have to pay a fee to Life and Health to gain access to the online. There's some online material, and so it can be quite expensive. But due to our partnership, Oklahoma Conference Native Ministries covers the cost of the materials, and the fee that is typically paid to Life and Health, they have waived that for the churches in the Oklahoma Conference. So we do not have to pay that. Here's what I ask the churches to do. Number one, hold the seminar. That's the big thing. But one of the major requirements is that you make a good faith effort to invite the Native Americans in this area. All things being equal, educational level, salary, everything. A Native American is 3 times more likely to develop diabetes than an Anglo-Saxon. And among the African American community, it is between Anglo-Saxons and Native Americans. So African Americans slightly less than natives, but slightly more than Anglo-Saxons. So it's a concern for everybody, and here's why, and why it's becoming more prevalent. And I'm working on trying to get this updated because this only goes through 2010, which so that's 16 years behind, but it will give you a really good idea. This is obesity trends. Okay, so white is no data. Less than 10%, 10 to 14%. These are adults that are obese in the different states, okay? So get that picture clearly in your mind. We're going to go through the years. This is 1985. So 95, 05, 15, 25. So 41 years ago, this is what obesity looked like in the United States, okay? Older than many that are here. 86, you see a couple went from light blue to dark blue. Quite a bit more dark blue, more dark blue, more dark blue, more dark blue. We can do either way. Yeah, I didn't charge this. And it may, let me see. Yeah, it's working, it's fine.
It's good.
We'll see. If it runs out, we'll switch out. Yeah. All right, what do you notice in that? You notice anything different? We have a new color, 15 to 19%. And that's 92. 93, 94, 95, 96. What happened? Another color equal to or greater than 20%. And notice, you'll see this key figure, Mississippi. Mississippi is a constant offender. 98, 99, 2000, 2001. What happened to Mississippi? Equal than or greater to 25% obese. 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. What happened? Another color. And look at and see, here's something else to notice. What is the lowest color on the map? 15 to 19%. No state is less than 15% obese. Okay, and of course Mississippi always leads in unhealthiness. 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. So between these years, in 1990, only 10 states had an obesity rate less than 10%. No state had an obesity of 15% or higher. In 2010, no state had a prevalence of obesity less than 20%. And 36 states had 25% or greater. And 12 of them equal to or greater than 30%. Obesity is a major contributing factor to diabetes. And you'll learn all this as you go through Diabetes Undone. That's me several years ago. I'm still not a skinny kid, but I'm not as big as I used to be. That's pegging at about 400 pounds. Today I weigh around 250. I've actually put on a few pounds. I tore my meniscus in Mexico on vacation, and I've not been able to walk real well. And some of the time there's no pain, but if I step just right, it feels like someone's taking a toothpick and just putting it right in my knee. So, and there's one of them right there. Oh, that felt real good. I'm supposed to have surgery the 10th, and I'm looking forward to it so I can get well and get back to walking. Because if I'm not walking, I'm gaining weight. I have low thyroid, so it doesn't take much, and I'm gaining weight. So it's very sad. All right, so that's why this program is very important. Number one, to help with diabetes. How many are familiar with blood sugar and A1C and those sort of things? Anyone? Okay. So if you're familiar with A1C, my A1C, before I started eating right and exercising, my A1C was 14. Yeah. I think it's at 7 you're considered diabetic. I was at 14. It was so bad. I'm nearsighted, okay? So to see you guys, I have to put my glasses on. But I'm also older. I'm 60. So anything up close, I have to take my glasses off. So I've only got a real narrow field where it's really clear. So I can't read with glasses on, but I can't see people. So I just take them off during the sermon, and I'm just hoping that everybody's smiling. So because I got to be able to read the word. My A1C was 14. It was so bad that there were times I didn't need my glasses and I could see, because I'm nearsighted. But what diabetes does is it changes your eyesight. It restricts blood vessels, does a bunch of stuff. That I don't have permanent vision ill consequences is a miracle. But yeah, it would actually correct my vision to 20/20. Yeah, kind of wild. I was on 5 or 6 medications, and I got a new doctor, and they did lab work, and when they took it, they can do the blood sugar right then. And so I don't know, they didn't tell me what it was, but it was so high. My fasting blood sugar was so high that the nurse came back out and she said, "Sir, did they not tell you that you weren't supposed to eat breakfast before you came?" And I said, "I didn't." And she said, "Are you sure?" So I don't know what it was, but it was sky high. Today, my A1C, last one I had done was 4.8. And fasting blood sugar, last I checked it, was like 102. So through lifestyle change, and that's what this is. And the thing is, exercise is a major part of that, and that's the component that's been taken out. And so now I'm having to wear, I've had to go up a size on shirts again, because I just don't burn it fast enough without walking. My doctor, when I was walking and losing weight, she said with the amount of walking I was doing, I should be able to eat 3,000 calories a day and still lose weight. She said, I just can't believe you're only losing, like a pound a week, And because I had my plan, I was meal prepping. I said, yeah, no, it doesn't work that way, because my thyroid is so low. My temperature, standard is like 98.6. Mine is like 96, 97. I'm cold constantly. And my wife likes to keep it like a refrigerator in the house. But, you know, you can always put on more clothes, and I want her to be comfortable. So this program, it's really pretty straightforward. It helps if you have someone that has a medical background, a doctor, a nurse. You got a lot of them? Okay, well, you're in good shape then. If you're a medical professional, this is a nothing deal, because all it is, and what I'm going to do, well, and if that's the case, then they can run with it. This training takes like 2.5 hours if there's no medical professionals. If you got medical professionals, then you know how to do presentations, you know the background. I'm just going to go through, and we could be done in probably about an hour, okay? Because I know you guys got things to do. I'd like to get home and spend a little time with my wife on Sabbath. She's not feeling well. She sends her apologies for not being here, but she didn't want to get anybody sick because she loves y'all. But this program is very easy to do. I'll run through just kind of the nuts and bolts of how to put it on, and then I'll talk about some strategies, okay, as far as putting it on for the public. So you just start, and it starts with there's a manual that goes with it, and in the workbook you've got questions, and you just go through. So you just go through the manual. Carbohydrates you break down into, medical professionals, anyone? What's the sugar that provides energy? Glucose. Yep. Okay. So it's just review. So this is I'm thinking this is just the manual part. Yep. Okay. So let me find another, because there's another one that I need to find. Because this one is just the manual. Let me. Church. There we go. Updated presentations. Oh dear. Let's see if I remember the password. Yes. All right. All right. So, this one's kind of, what in the world? Keynote. No. Hang on. Well, hang on a second. Cancel. Sorry about that. Let's try this again. Why is it? All right, we'll try one more time. Technology is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing when it works, and a curse when it doesn't. Just thinking about it. There we go. All right. There's my email address if anybody needs it. JimL@nativeministries.org. JimL@nativeministries.org. All right. And one of the biggest ways of working with American Indians is health. health is definitely the right arm of the gospel. So, Luke 9:2, sent them out to proclaim the kingdom of God, to perform what? Healing. This is my favorite quote in all spirit of prophecy. Christ's method alone will bring true success in reaching the people. Savior mingled with men as one who desired their good. He showed his sympathy for them, ministered to their needs, won their confidence. Then he bade them follow me. Too often in the Adventist church, we start with follow me. We haven't won their confidence. We haven't proved how much we love them. It's just, hey, you shouldn't be going to church on Sunday because that's the mark of the beast. And don't eat pork anymore either. And, slap beer out of their hand and tell them that God loves you, you filthy sinner. It doesn't work that way. All right, here it is. Invite the local nations. So like in Oklahoma City, Tribal Health Board, Southern Plains Tribal Health Board, let them know you're doing a Diabetes Undone seminar. Any local clinics, just look up, Native American clinics, Native American offices, and just let them know you're doing it. Take pictures, write a report. Make sure you say, hey, Native Ministries provided all this. Send it to me, and then everything's free. So otherwise, the church is responsible for the full cost of the materials. So that's me when I started at TAA in 2021. That's 404 pounds. So the program is very simple because most of it is video-based. And before, you had a DVD and you had PowerPoint, and you had to switch from a DVD player to a computer. With the new material, the updated, it's all in the PowerPoint. So you don't have to worry about it. And you just start the video.
And it's increasing at an alarming rate. Today, more than a third of all Americans are either diabetic or pre-diabetic. Half of all Americans are predicted to have diabetes or pre-diabetes. Diabetes and pre-diabetes significantly increase the risk of heart disease and many other devastating complications. But the good news is that current trends don't have to continue.
So all you do is you watch the video, and they do the heavy lifting. All the research, all the medical technology. This is what diabetes is. This is what it does. This is how being overweight affects it. Insulin resistance, all of that they cover. What the presenter does is connects with the class, and then goes through. So hope, the feeling that what is desired could actually be possible. This is straight out of the manual. And the presenter has a little manual that they follow that tells you exactly where you're at and what you need to do. And then for each one, at different points, you've got the test your knowledge, which is in the workbook. And it's just, so you just ask, hope is the feeling that what is anyone? Somebody raises their hand, you call on them. Desired could actually be possible. And you just go through the workbook. And that's, and there's, when a person has high blood sugar for so long, it causes significant health complications. Kidney failure is one of the big ones. Stillwell, Oklahoma is, last population check I did was like right at 3,000 people. 53% Native American. They have a kidney dialysis center. The last I knew, Fayetteville, Arkansas, which has some 60, 70,000 people. Springdale, which is just right across the line, they have some 40,000 people. Rogers, Bentonville, the metro, the Northwest Arkansas metro, has like a couple 100,000 people all total. And the last I knew, they did not have a kidney dialysis center. You had to go to Tulsa or across the border over into Stillwell, which is only like about 40 minutes from Fayetteville. But Stillwell, as small as it is, has one because of Native Americans. At one point, I don't know if it still is, Stillwell had the lowest life expectancy in the United States. Yeah. Huh? Stillwell. You know where Sallisaw is? No? Sallisaw is on I-40, about 35 minutes from the Arkansas border. That's Sallisaw. Stillwell is due north, about 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. 53% Native American. And at one point, lowest life expectancy in the U.S. Okay? So, eyes, kidneys. What high blood sugar does is it scratches up the walls of the capillaries. And so, there's all kinds of stuff floating around in your blood. Well, it gets caught in those scratches and builds up. And so you get neuropathy because you're not getting good blood flow. And that's one thing that I do experience. I have some neuropathy in my feet. It's not as bad as it could be, but my feet are cold always. And they tingle most of the time because I let it get so bad for so long. Now I'm paying the price. So these shoes are super comfortable. I can't wear most shoes because they hurt my feet. I've got some really nice Tony Lama cowboy boots, ostrich skin that were given to me by a friend of mine. I can't wear them because they kill my feet. There for a while, man, those were my go-to. I wore those everywhere because they make me look sharp. But and I need all the help I can get. But can't wear them because my feet are so bad. Okay, so these are some of the health. So it goes through, but the presenter has a manual that they can kind of go through.
So what exactly is diabetes?
Another video. Then once again, carbohydrates you eat break down into, we've already said it, what's the word? Glucose. As glucose enters the bloodstream, blood sugars rise. What's the hormone? Anyone? Insulin. See, you guys are geniuses. You know this. Once glucose enters the cells, blood sugar levels go down. Okay, they're able to be used. High blood sugars can be caused by a lack of insulin production or by insulin resistance. And that's what happens when you get overweight. Your body's producing insulin, but because of all these other factors, it's not recognizing it and not being able to use it. So blood sugar shoots up. Which of the following is caused by a lack of insulin production? Type 1. And then what causes type 2 and prediabetes? Insulin resistance. Now see, this is where you have to have watched the deal, because this is not medical, this is just from the deal. Insulin resistant cells are fat and sassy. So he talks about that they won't accept insulin. Okay, so he makes it kind of relatable.
Insulin resistance is the driving force.
So then there's a couple other presenters. Dr. Youngberg does most of it, but Brenda Davis has.
Hippocrates was an ancient Greek.
So then it talks about plant-based diet, which the closer you follow all the principles that are outlined, the faster you'll see the results and the better the results. What I encourage people to do is to make a good decision and then be ready to make better decisions. Some people, you tell them, okay, no more pop. Soda? Yeah, I say pop. Anybody else? Pop?
I say soda.
Soda? Soda. You're from the north. Down a little farther south than where I grew up, it's just a Coke. And then you gotta tell them a flavor. What kind of Coke you want? Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, everything's a Coke. But tell them no more Coke. Some people freak out. Look, you drink a Coke a day, a pop a day. Cut back through a week. Cut back, but then be ready to cut back more. Okay. Now, but if you can, just quit, because it's just not good for you. But plant-based diet up to 3 times more effective than the traditional American Diabetes Association diet. The ADA diet is good, but it's not the best. And so what we're doing is talking about optimal health. And so then there's questions to reflect upon. So all it is you're just going through. And the heavy lifting is done by Dr. Youngberg and the presenters. And then this part allows you to connect with the people. Because I want to be honest with you. We are not a health institute. Our primary goal is not making people physically well. That's a secondary or a tertiary goal. What's our primary goal? To share the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we're doing it using the right arm of the gospel, not the body. That's where some people go wrong. They try to treat the health message like it's the body. It's not the body. It's the right arm. So we need to use it appropriately. But our main goal is to make friends, to help our friends, so then we can share the gospel. What did Jesus spend most of his time doing? Preaching or healing? Healing. Because people can't hear you when they're sick. Okay? So he would heal them. He would feed them. Then, see, and that's straight ministry of healing, Christ's method alone. Walked among men as one who desired their good. He sympathized with them. He met their needs. He won their confidence. We just want to tell people that, that they need to stop doing this and Jesus loves them. Most of the time, they're not going to hear you. But with programs like this, see, when I talk about, my journey, when I go to Walmart, up until I hurt my knee, I live about, as the crow flies, about 100 yards. So taking the streets, it's about 130 yards, 40 yards. But anything that I can't just carry home, I take a little wagon. And people get a real kick out of that because I'm, pulling this wagon. And why you got this wagon? We got carts. And I say, well, I walk from home. But, I'm getting a lot of stuff and I can't carry that. But I got to get my steps in. Like, oh, you working on it? Yeah, because I've lost 100 and, wherever I was at the time, 130 pounds, 140 pounds, 150 pounds. And I need to lose a little bit more. I say I lost 150 pounds and now I've got their attention, see? Well, tell me, how did you do that? I don't have to. Do you know how to tell somebody's a vegan? They'll tell you. You don't have to ask. They'll tell you. The other one they use is CrossFit. How do you know somebody's into CrossFit? They tell you. Okay. I don't have to go up to people and say, you know what? You need to do this and this and this and this to improve your health. All they got to do is hear that I lost 150 pounds, and I keep that one photo. I keep it toward the, after so many pictures, I copy it and put it at the front again so I can show them. They're like, you lost 150 pounds? Yeah, let me show you what I used to look like. I'm not a skinny kid, but look at this. See, now they're interested. How did you do that? Well, since you asked. See the difference? When somebody's not interested, you can get in their face all you want to, and it's not going to make a difference. In fact, eventually they're going to be like, go away. But when they see the difference, see, when they see that you're healthy, when they see the difference in your life, and it corresponds spiritually as well. When there was a church I pastored back years ago before I became a full-time minister, which that was 2004 when I came to Oklahoma. But I was talking to the head elder, who is just the most gentle, loving man I've ever met in my life. His name was Jerry. And we were talking one time, and he was talking about when he was in the Navy and the life he had lived and cursing and running with women and this and that. And I'm just like, I couldn't picture it. Because there's no way. There's no way bad words ever came out of this man's mouth. I mean, this was just the sweetest man I've ever met in my life. He said, no, before I met Jesus, I was a mess. I wanted to hear more of his story because of the difference. See, that's what our goal is, to use health to make friends with people because you share the gospel with friends. So that's the whole deal. So you just go through. Step 1, change your paradigm. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each morning journaling what you're thankful for. What changes do I need to make? What changes can I make? And then be ready to change more. Then each evening ends with a recipe. And video based. And this is really good. Now, as you look at that list, there's an ingredient that a lot of people use that was missing. Salt. Salt is not your friend. And for most people, it's their sworn enemy. So these are low calorie, low salt, high nutritive value. Most of what Americans eat is high salt, high calorie, with very little nutrition. So you got to eat a bunch of it, and then you just wind up getting fat. It is what it is. So one of the things you want to do, and so there you go. There's your first. There's 8 sessions. You can do it one of 2 ways. You can either do once a week and do 8 sessions, or you can do like a Sunday, Thursday, do twice a week, and then you're only on the hook for 4 weeks. So in one way that's better because it's hard to get a commitment from people for 8 weeks, but they don't have the time to see the benefits that 8 weeks, because you need time to implement some of this stuff and start seeing a difference. If you do the once a week, then by that 8th week, if they're following it, they're going to see weight loss, they're going to see blood sugar starting to come down, and it's going to be more of an impact. Now, churches ask me all the time, so what do you want us to do? No, listen, that's your business. I'm not here to tell you what to do. That's for you folks to figure out. You've got to use it best in your your situation. I have been to Kenya, and I am adopted Luo, but I am not a Kenyan. I do not have a Kenyan mindset. I am Mzungu. Okay? Do I have a great love and appreciation for Africa? I do. But I am not African. So you have to make the determination what works best in your context. I'm just going to give you the tools. It's up to you to put it to use. A couple of things you can do to make it more successful, but this is what you will have to do and make the decision. I absolutely recommend that you at the very least have the recipe so that they can try. One thing that can be helpful is to have a complete meal using recipes from the book and making it like the book. Because you can certainly, I don't know if this is a proper word, but you can certainly Africanize it to some extent, but not salt, not, 90% of what you eat should come from that first section in Walmart when you walk in, the fruits and vegetables that are, that's 90. The other 10 should be canned stuff that, doesn't have added salt. So anything that has more than like 3 ingredients, that needs to be very spare. If it's got more than 3 or 4 ingredients, not good for you. Okay? Because that's what's gotten us to the place where we are. These things where you tear it open, you put it in boiling water, add a little milk, and a lot of butter and some salt, and 15 minutes later, you've got a dish. That's garbage. Now, if that's all you can do, that's all you can do. You got to work with what you got, and that's the thing. To cook healthy, you need a couple things. Number one, you need time. Because this stuff, you got to chop stuff, and then you got to make stuff, and then you got to bake stuff. It takes some time. It takes some know-how. You ever been to a place where it's all vegan and it's the nastiest stuff you've ever had in your life? And you wonder, how do they eat this stuff? Yeah. Just just because it's vegan and it's good for you don't mean it's good. So that takes some knowledge, how to properly mix spices and herbs and different vegetables so that it's not only good for you but tastes good. I will say I have never had anything out of the Plant to Plate book that isn't good. It's not very salty, and so if that's what if that's what your palate is used to, it's going to be very bland. But you can always add salt. You can't take it out. Okay. But another thing you can do, especially because everybody is so busy, number one, have childcare so that they can just bring their kids. And number two, feed a full meal so they don't have to worry about getting off work, going home, fixing a meal, then coming. And then by the time they get home, they're exhausted. Just show up. We got you. Here's a full meal of healthy food that's good for you, that's straight out of the book. So that's some things that you can do that can help drive attendance. Okay? That's basically the program. If you've got health professionals, I don't have to go through the different things to show you. It's just you'll have the manual, and you just go through. Once you look at that, kind of see where you're going and where the video breaks are, and be ready and just have a good personality and talk with people. That's half of it. So, questions, comments, how the program works?
Well, the chart where you show the obesity and everything, changed from like the 80s. I know one of the things that caused that problem was fast food. Because I remember growing up in New York, going to McDonald's or anything was a treat. It's not something you did every day, multiple times a day.
Yep.
Everybody cooked their food. So now, with the invention of, microwave foods, that came up in my generation.
Yep.
The microwave food, McDonald's, and eating that every day, that's what spiked up, in my opinion, the obesity. Because you didn't see all this. And when I was in school, you had maybe one child out of like 30 who was obese.
Yeah. And now it's just about everybody.
Yeah. They probably one child who's not obese now, but it's like, it's totally flipped. So,
in McDonald's food, they have shown you can take and the other thing is the cost.
yes.
Because healthy food is expensive.
Right.
But the junk is cheap. You can get, you can get a double cheeseburger. I don't know anymore. I haven't had one for a while, but they're there for a while. They were like $1.
Right.
But a salad was like $8.
Exactly.
But you can take a McDonald's hamburger, a cheeseburger, and put it under glass, and it don't rot.
Yep.
It's so filled with
It's so
preservatives.
processed. Yeah.
Used to, what they would do in the big cities is after a while, they would go and dig people up and reuse graves. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In England, yeah, they would do that all the time.
Right.
They can't do that anymore because people don't rot because they've filled themselves with preservatives.
Right. He just wants me to say what I said again.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Basically what I said, looking at the chart you had put up earlier, you showed the obesity rates, how it changed from, I think, 1980s to recently, 2010. And basically I was saying that growing up in the 80s, we didn't have all of this fast food. We didn't eat that. It was like a treat once a year, maybe your birthday or something you went. It wasn't an everyday thing, a multiple meal thing in a day where you were eating this. So I grew up, everybody cooked. Everybody was thin. There was no such thing as, eating this regularly. And another thing, you mentioned that when you walk, you actually take your cart. That's what we did in New York. We had what we call a shopping cart. We weren't taking cars because living in the city, that was just more of an inconvenience to have a car. So we will walk to the supermarkets, and that's how we stayed thin. I remember walking from school, going to work, and that was a common thing. We walked. We were not driving. So it's just interesting how convenience has made us sick.
Then, a couple other things. In the 1940s, a family dinner place setting, a dinner plate, was this big. Now you go to Walmart and a regular plate is this big. It's huge. A couple other things, talking about McDonald's, there was a guy, it's been 10, 15 years back, there was a program called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. He was an athlete, like 8% body fat, just in shape. He had to quit exercising, and he could only eat at McDonald's, and he had to go through the menu. He couldn't just stick to the healthy options. And if they asked him, do you want me to supersize that? He had to say yes. It supersized me. It almost killed him. He gained like 40 pounds. His triglycerides went through the roof. Got prediabetes. Yeah, it was just bad. And then one other thing, prior to World War II, obesity, diabetes, the lifestyle diseases were unknown in Japan. Unknown. Now, they're in a little better shape than we are, but now those things are prevalent because the West came in, they've got fast food and all this. So we're trying to get people back to the Edenic ideal. All right, questions? Anyone else? Kind of got at least a decent idea? Huh?
I just wanted to know, does genetics increase your chances of being obese, or just it's about how much calories you consume?
I didn't quite hear the first part. Say. Oh yeah, see that's the other thing. It's about half and half. Nurture, nature. Okay? So the things you do contribute, but also there are some people, well, it's just like men and women. Okay? Women have, on average, have higher body fat. So women, it is 3 times harder to lose weight than it is for a man. Men typically have a higher resting metabolic rate. So, men can exercise and lose weight. Women can stand still and gain 15. So, being a woman works against you. And some people, genetics, some people are just fat. And so it is 10 times harder. Because I have low thyroid, it is much more difficult for me to lose weight. Not impossible. I have to bite, scratch, and claw. But, it is what it is. My mom had thyroid problems. Now I have thyroid problems. So, yeah, genetics does play a role. And that's where we don't need to shame people. Some people can, eat pizza 3 times a day and not gain a pound. It's hard to love those people. But it is what it is. Everybody's different. And that's the other thing. When it comes to losing weight, people say, well, I can tell you how I did it, but that might not work for you because you're different. Your body chemistry is different. You're from a different racial background or cultural background or any number of things. But find what works for you and do it. And that's the big thing. We're just presenting information. So, all right, anybody else? How the program works, what you need to do, requirements. I'm not trying to rush out of here, but I'm not trying to camp either. So speak now, forever hold your peace. Sister, you got something to say, or is he just putting that?
He's just putting that mic on me.
You don't have to take that. Okay, hold on. No, go ahead, and then we'll bring it over here so she can ask everybody, not just me. Go ahead, brother.
Now, first of all, I wanted to ask about the program itself.
Yes.
Because initially when you started, that we need to reach out to the community.
To the native community. Absolutely, you need to reach out to the community.
Yes.
But for the materials to be free,
Yeah.
you need to make sure there's an invitation to the Native community because it's Native Ministries
Oh,
that
okay.
is supplying this.
Okay. Yeah, so that is actually my question.
Okay.
Because we are looking at this area where we are. I don't know if there is any information you can get as to where this native community is around here.
Google. Google it. Now, if you look and you're like, hey, I can't find anything, then have Pastor Parks give me a call and I'll do some searching as well. Okay? But try to find the offices, like Southern Plains Tribal Health is in Oklahoma City. And as I'm remembering, ooh, look at that, lightning reflexes. As I'm remembering kind of where I'm at and where it's at, it's quite far away. However, they deal with this whole area. So by letting them know, that can cover this area as well. But if there are any tribal doctor's offices or anything, that's where you want to start. You want to start as close to here as possible. Because let's be honest, people don't travel. When I was in Kenya, when I was in Cuba, people would come for 10, 20 miles. In Cuba, they would ride in the back of a truck that was about as wide as the aisle, maybe a little bit less. And from here to the back row, and they would fit 125 people in there. Literally packed in, no room. And they would ride that way for 20 miles, come to evangelistic meetings each night. And you'd be hard pressed to get those folks over there in that house to cross the street and come. Let's be honest. So start as close to home as possible. Wait. My sister here is next.
Okay, I was just going to actually answer this question.
No. We're gonna do this right. Come up here, brother. My sister had a question. Let's be fair. Then we will go back.
Well, I didn't really have a question.
Oh.
I missed the class, so I wanted to see, is there a way, because some of us were back there with the kids, if we can get, like how we can read the information, or if you have, like printouts that you can share with us. That's what I was...
Mainly, what I started out with was how obesity went from most states had very little to like all kinds. And then I was just going how to do the program. Now, are you going to be one of the presenters? And that's whoever is going to present, they really need this information. What needs to happen is ideally, you want about 20 people from the community, and you want 5 members. If you have everybody as members and only a couple from the community, because we love each other, right? So what's going to happen when we all get together? We're going to visit amongst ourselves. Okay? So you want more guests than members, because the whole reason we're doing this is we're wanting to share the gospel. We're not just trying to make healthy sinners. So we want to make friends. So it's mainly, and I'll just tell you because we just zipped through it. But I just shared the obesity rates, and then there's video, and then you go through the manual and go through the answers, and you're involving the people. You're making friends. And then you watch the video. So that's really the long and short of it. Then how to make it successful? Have at least at the end, there's a recipe. Have that for people to taste. But if you can have childcare and you can have a full meal, so they don't have to worry about going home and then fixing dinner and then coming and then, yeah. If they can not have to worry about that meal, they can come here, feed themselves, feed their kids, then that's what makes the program work. And that's kind of the long and short of it. Is that pretty much? Yeah.
Okay, I just did a Google search like you suggested,
Mm-hmm.
and right here in Edmond, there is a Native Health Medical Clinic that's right on off of Bryant Avenue in Edmond. And it does say that it is Native owned, operated. So I think that can be a resource
Yep.
for us to be able to do this program.
Yeah, so go. Now here's the key. Here's the key, working with natives. We have a program that helps manage diabetes. You don't ever want to walk into a native clinic and say, we have a program that will cure diabetes. Number one, it is difficult to completely cure it, but it can be completely put in remission. But even so, you don't want to say that. Well, why don't you want to say that? Well, because the tribes get millions of dollars from the government to purchase glucometers and strips and this and that, and you have educators and you have this. If we were to, wipe out diabetes, that would wipe out millions of dollars of funding. Because when we first started doing this, we talked about, this can put diabetes in remission. And the native coordinators shut us down. They didn't want to listen, because it's kind of like doctors. Not all doctors. There's some good ones out there, but most doctors, are they trying to heal you, or are they trying to keep you just well enough that you can keep coming back because they got a Porsche payment?
Yeah, that's to keep you.
There's two sides of it. It's not just all on the doctors, because doctors, it's so easy to prescribe a pill, but then it has side effects, so they got to give you a pill to counter the side effects of this pill, and then they got to give you a pill to counterfeit, and then it's just a big round. So part of it's on the doctor, but part of it's on the patient too, because most people don't go in and say, well, what do I need to change about my lifestyle? Well, do you have a pill for that? And the doctors were like, well, yeah, I do. So it's everybody's fault. But yeah, so you don't go in and say, oh yeah, we've got this program that'll put their diabetes in remission. No, it will help to manage diabetes. And many natives are type 1 diabetics. And there's no curing that. You can just manage it a lot better. So we need to be very careful with terminology. Anyone else?
I just have a question. You just mentioned that the natives have type 1 diabetes. Why is that? Is it genetic or yeah?
I have a theory. This is just a non-medical professional theory. Western diet has changed gradually over the years, from Europe to now. But for the native community, they skipped a couple hundred years, so it's been more rapid. Now, there may be actual medical, this and this and this and this genetics and that genetics. I don't know. But I'm thinking it's just because of the rapid shift. Because in Japan, and the reason I say that is because in Japan, they went from nothing to a dramatic increase within 10 years of MacArthur being put, in charge of Japan after World War II. They saw a dramatic change because for years their diet was, somewhat, gardening, but a lot of what they ate, because they're an island nation, from the sea. And meat, yes, they ate fish and they ate, some unclean things, octopus and things, but it was a small part of their diet. It was primarily plant-based. Okinawa, if you've heard of the blue zones, the places where people live to be 100 plus, and not just make it to 100, but they're still doing good at 100. There was a surgeon in Loma Linda who was like 90 some odd and still doing surgery. He didn't retire till he was like 98 years old. Loma Linda is primarily, vegan. Okinawa, they eat some meat, but very little. It's primarily plant-based. So when there's a rapid switch, well, you'll see problems. So that's my guess is why it affects natives more, because they had a shorter transition. They were hunter-gatherers. Now the Plains Indians did, the bison were a primary food source, but like the coastal Indians, beans, corn, what's the other? Squash, beans, corn. The three sisters is what they're called. And those plants are symbiotic. You plant them together, and they help each other to grow. And that was a staple of their diet. Well, now, yeah. So, all right. Anybody else? Going once? Going twice? Let's bow our heads forward to prayer. Father in heaven, I thank you for the time that I have been able to be here and fellowship with my brothers and sisters. Lord, I pray for them as they engage their community and try and win souls for your kingdom. We thank you for allowing us to play a part. In Jesus' name, amen. And as you're going through the journey, if you have any questions, Pastor Parks has my number. You guys give me a call. Whatever I can do to help, I'll do it. Okay? Thank you for your time. You all have a great day and a happy Sabbath.